Alright guys, finally made it back to the track, and sorry I haven't posted a video in so long. I've been super busy with house projects and vacation and a bunch of stuff, so that's why I haven't posted in a while. But I'm back, and this is the last day for test and tune at my local track here. So I'm going to start off with the tune-up I had in it last time, and then see what it does, and I'll probably just keep turning it up a little bit and see if we can run, at least a 1080, 1050 would be great, and I'll be happy with that. I haven't really made any changes to the car because, well, I just haven't had the time, really. But I just got her unloaded, and here, I'll swing you around. I just got her unloaded, and everyone's getting ready. So yeah, I picked this spot right up here, close to the tower and the staging lanes. So that way, I figured it would be a little bit more convenient. I'm by myself right now. So that kind of sucks, but yeah, so I'm here by myself. Scott's supposed to come out. We'll see if he shows up. I don't know what he's got going on today. Said he would meet me here, so that's a plus, I guess. But yeah, I'm up, I'm unloaded, I'm ready to rock. I got the in-car camera set up, but this is a newer one, so I've used it a few times, but sitting in the car and trying to reach back to hit the record button. But I have a little remote for this one, but it's like kind of glitchy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see what happens if I can even get it. I like the in-car, that way I can make the run, and then while I'm getting my ticket, my time slip, I could kind of discuss what I felt in the run. And then not only is that like cool for you guys, I think, but it's good for me because sometimes it's kind of hard for me to remember. Like if I do 4 or 5 runs, sometimes I kind of forget what exactly happened on each particular run at the end when I'm going through all my data again, because I try to look at the data after every run and kind of see what happened and what didn't happen, or that kind of thing. And then also, like at the end of the night, or a day or two later, I'll try to go back through and I'm just trying to get familiarize myself with everything. So I'm still kind of relatively new at this. So coming from carburetors, this is like a whole new deal. But I'm getting there. I think I'm doing pretty good so far. But yeah, stay tuned, and we'll see what she does. So it felt good. Let's see what it did. Whew. There you go. Thank you, sir. All right, right lane. Well, it wasn't that good. It was okay. It's a little slower. It's we went 1136 at 120 in the quarter. And a 187.60 foot. And a looks like a 733 in the eighth. So not very impressive. We'll see. I gotta look at the data and see. The boost felt like it was there. I did hold the shifts just a tad longer. So we'll see if when the actual shift happened on the data, I'll be able to look and see, because I think I have the light to come on at 61, and I think I actually shifted at 65. We'll see when it actually shifted. You know, the delay between me seeing the light and hitting it. But yeah, I have a feeling we might have to turn it up a little bit, and hopefully that works. But once I look at the data, I'll be able to tell for sure. So stand by, and I'll come back and see what happens. Alright, so first pass wasn't all that impressive. I'm looking at the data, and it looks like so I turned my dome pressure up on that from my original tune. I think I set it at like 8. I'll have to double check let's see what the target was here. Yeah, so target dome was 8. And it only, it kind of, I don't know if you can see here, but it kind of jumps up and down on the sensor readings. So the dome pressure was like anywhere from 7, 10, down to 6. Yeah, it like jumps around between 6 and 10. Yeah, 6 and 10 seems to be where it's like jumping around. And I only made, let's see, we'll go to like the peaks here. Let's see, where is that? 14.4, 12.9. That kind of jumps around too. 14.7, 14.8 was kind of like the peak. 14.8. Yeah, between 13 and 14 pounds. But it felt good. It was pulling strong. Oil pressure was good. I checked that. Air fuel looked good. Fuel pressure was good. Everything looked good. And I ended up shifting at 6,600. I don't know if you can see that. 6,600 was my first shift. And then, my crappy stall converter that's not very big drags it way down on the shifts to 4,800, and then it's got to climb back up. And then the 2.3 was 65.51 on the last shift. So that's okay. It still pulled good. It sounded good. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna change my shift light to come on at 63, and I'll just as like a reminder, like, hey, I'm getting close, and I'm gonna just watch the tack instead of the light, and just keep shifting at 65 and try to keep the shifts consistent so I can eliminate that as a variable. And then what I'm going to do here on the tune is I'll go in and change the dome pressure. I'm going to raise the dome pressure up. I'll probably just go to, let me see, because I was going to just go to 10, but I might go to 12 and just see what happens. Because even like this spike, let's see where this, zoom in here. So even on the spike at 14.8 right there, which was like the most it made, my dome pressure was, let's see, 8. So, you know, between, let's do a low of 7 and a high of 9. So, okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to raise the dome pressure to 10, from 8 to 10. Maybe I should go 12. I don't know. It's like I don't want to go too high because my map sensor is only, I think, 2.5 bar, which is good for like 22 PSI. So I don't want to go too high, you know, and then overshoot it. But I don't know how many passes I'm going to get. It's already 1 o'clock, and I've only made one pass because they had some issues. And, I mean, here, I'll show you. There's a lot of cars here today. So, I mean, I want to be able to at least, I'd like to get 4 runs, but I might only get 3. So, you know, I think instead of doing 2 PSIs, maybe I'll do 4 and then see where 4 gets me. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to do that, and then I'll upload that into the car, and we'll try it again. So, stand by. Alright, so I'm still out here by myself, so bear with me if this video sucks, because I'm by myself. So just got back from the second pass here, and my little changes, I adjusted my dome pressure up to 12. You can see it there, 12, and it was jumping between 10 and 13, you know, on the graph here. And I think it might have hit 14 or 15 1 or 2 times over in here, but for the most part it stayed between 10 and 13 PSI dome pressure. And my boost pressure, I ended up getting right around 17 at the peak here. I don't know what this is down here. 18 down here, but okay, so it did pick up a little bit more. See, 18 down toward the end of the track here. 18.1, 18.2. So I think what I'm gonna do, because all through this part right here, I was only 17, so not too bad. 17, dipped down to 16, dipped down to 15, and then it started coming back up right here. I don't understand why it's doing that. I don't know if it's because something going on with the MAC valve, how this keeps fluctuating and it's making the boost fluctuate. I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna go up on dome pressure. I think I'm gonna go up on dome pressure 2 more PSI, so I'll be at 14 dome pressure, and see where that gets me boost wise. I should be back out the back door here. I should be in around 20. That's my hope. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to make those adjustments and put that tune up in the car, and then hopefully I can get another pass. I mean, it's already, look, 3:55, no joke, and I've only made 2 passes, and I got here at 10. So they've had a lot of people blowing up and oil downs and just a lot of crap happening. So they've been running kind of slow because of that. It's been slowing everything down. So hopefully I'm getting good in-car video. I mean, I can't for some reason figure out how to get the front screen to turn on this camera that I have. To, you know, it tells you when you start. It's when you hit record on it. It says, you know, starts recording. But I start it when I'm in the staging lanes, and I just can't hear it. So I'm hoping it's working. But you know, stand by, and I'm gonna do this, and then I'll get back to another pass here. Okay, so back from the third run, and yeah, like I suspected, I did shift early. So right here we have my first shift, which was good, 65.05, pretty good there. And then my next shift, look, I shifted way early. I got confused, and I shifted at 6,100. So I should have held that one a little bit longer. But my boost was still about the same, 18, right around 18, 17. Let's see, we dipped down a little bit right here, 16, and then out the back end, back up to 18.5. 18.6, 18.7, jumping around between like 18.6, 18.7, 18.4. So I'm going to bump this, I'm going to go one more. I was worried about going right to 14 before, so I ended up just going to 13. So now I am actually going to go to 14. And hopefully that'll get me out the back here. That'll put me right around 20. That's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see. I'm going to do that, flash it, put it in the car, and then also I screwed up the camera on that last run. I don't think I got an in-car view, so that's going to suck. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess, at this point. It's better than nothing. So, stand by. Also, I forgot to show you the times. I think I even forgot. So the last pass was let's see, 11:22. Let's see, 11:22 at 1:22 in the quarter, and my 60 foot was 176. Eighth mile 7:22 at 98, and then when I bumped it up a little bit, it picked up a little bit. I did a 174 in the 60 foot, 114 in the eighth at 99, and then 11:11 in the quarter mile at 123. So not a lot. 1 mile an hour, and what is that, like a tenth? Yeah. So a little improvement, but I screwed up the shifts on that one. So I'm hoping with just a smidge more and a good shift, we'll see. So let's hope for the best. That's what I'm doing. Okay, let's try this again. They just called us up. So I'm gonna head up there. And this will probably be my last pass. So hopefully we can get where we need to be. Hopefully you guys can see and hear. like we're going to be up against this 5.0 Mustang. He'll probably beat me. I'm sure he'll fuck something up. Oh, actually, no. It looks like I'll be by myself. Unless another car comes out. Felt like it broke up a little bit. It felt like it broke up a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what happened there, but it definitely felt like it broke up a little bit. And yeah, now we're going to be stuck behind this guy going 2 miles an hour. But what are you going to do? You know, traffic, you know. I really hope this angle that I got you guys at is good, because I can't tell. But I guess in hindsight, it's better than no video, right? I mean, we got that. It's actually starting to cool down a little bit, so it's not too terribly hot in here. Thank you, sir. All right, let's see. Nope. I don't know what it is. That run was 11:27 at 121 in the quarter. And let's see, 60 foot. Yeah, even my 60 foot was a little slower. 179 60 foot. And the 8th mile was 726 at 99. So yeah, kind of sucks. But what are you gonna do? I don't know. I gotta look at the data and see what went on there. I'm pretty sure I shifted at 6,300. Trying to get the actual shift to stay at 65. But maybe because I had a little bit more boost, it didn't like the RPM. You know, I don't know. So we'll see. But we'll find out when we get back. So stand by. Okay, this is attempt number 2. Tried to film this a few minutes ago and the camera shut down because the memory card was full. So I just had to go through and delete all the old videos that were stored on it. So now I can finally finish doing this. But I want to say after that last pass last night, so I haven't even had a chance to review the in-car footage. So I don't even know, at this point in time, I don't even know what was recorded in the car and what wasn't, because I didn't have a chance to look at the memory card on that. I just wanted to film this because I didn't have a chance when I got back last night, after I left the track, to look at the data from the last run. So I wanted to check it out. So I was in here checking it out, and I found something. And I was like, ooh, I might as well, while I have that up, I had that up on my screen here. I was like, oh, I might as well, you know, talk about it and do the end of my video, and then I'll compile everything. Anyhow, I'm going to bring it back up because now I have to start over again because I had to take the memory card out of the camera, put it in here, delete a bunch of shit, and then put it back in so I could film this. But I wanted to say, so normally when I look at the data, every single run, I don't look at every single bit of information because there's a lot. It records everything. So I just kind of stick to the important ones. And I'm kind of glad. So I found an issue with the oil pressure. I'm going to pull this up here and then I'll bring you guys in. Let me just find the file. Oh, where is it? 5. Okay, open. So I found an issue. So on the first pass I made when I first got there, I checked the oil pressure, I checked fuel pressure, my air-fuel ratios. I checked everything the first pass. So normally I'll check all that stuff like, you know, every other pass or whatever. But it was so frantic because I was doing everything by myself. So I had to come back and, you know, mess with the camera, mess with the car, try to get the car cooled down. Because normally I get about an hour, give or take a few minutes between each run to get everything together and look at stuff and make adjustments and try to get the car cooled off a little bit. I normally don't really worry too much about getting the car cooled off because it always runs at a constant like 190, 195. No matter what you do, like I can never seem to, like even if I start off like my very first pass, because you're idling and pulling up through the staging lanes for a while. So unless I park like way off to the side and wait until everybody else goes and then start the car up and head right into the burnout box and do my pass, the car's already up to 195 anyways. I try to like I try to, you know, ideally I'd like it to run around 180 degrees down the, you know, starting off, but that car warms up like real quick. It gets to operating temperature pretty quickly, but regardless, I wanted to look at the pass. I'll bring you guys in. So, and then I even went back through. I even went back through the previous. So I made 4 passes that night, and made 4 passes. So the first pass, everything looked good. Oil pressure looked good. Fuel pressure, everything looked good. Except, you know, boost, obviously, because, you know, I was trying to get up to around 20. But anyways, we crept up there. And I'll show you what I ended up making here on this last run, which I'm pretty happy with the boost levels now. But I noticed my oil pressure, I just, for some reason, I was like, let me just check the oil pressure on the last run just to see, because normally it's fine, never have an issue. It's always like right around 60, 70 PSI throughout the run. I mean, it'll vary a little bit depending on my, you know, on my RPMs when I shift, but it's usually good. But I decided to check it just, you know, what the hell. I was like, I'll let me bring that up. And I noticed when I launched, I started out, okay. You know what? Let me bring you guys in so you can see what I'm talking about here. Let's see. Bear with me here. Try not to move you guys around too much. Okay, so this is why I like having data, because if I was a carbureted LS setup, which a lot of guys do, you wouldn't really know this unless you're fixated. You know, you have to have a recording device because you'll never notice this. At least I wouldn't, anyways. So this line here, this jumping up and down bullshit, that's the oil pressure. So here's the launch. Okay, let's spread this out a little bit here. Okay, so right here, all these lines right here, this is I'm on the 2-step right here. So it's usually around 2300. So let's see, yep, 2300. So at 2300 RPM, I'm making this. What's this purple one? Oh, that's ignition timing. We can get rid of that. We don't need to see that right now. So 2300 RPM on the 2-step, I am at 52 PSI oil pressure. So that's good. That's more than enough, okay? Now, as the car launches, so this is the car launching right here. See, I let off the button, boom. RPMs are going up. This is the RPM line right here. RPMs are going up. The oil pressure starts to go up, and it gets to right here, which is about 58. Yep, 58. Enhance. There you go, 58. And then all of a sudden it nosedives. Look at this. It comes way down. It starts fluctuating a little bit, but it ends up coming down to 37 PSI, okay? 37 PSI at 4,500 RPM. So that's a little bit low. So the general rule of thumb is you want 10 PSI of oil pressure for every 1,000 RPMs. That's considered like the general safe zone. So we're close. I should technically be about 42, I guess you could say, 42 PSI, and I'm a little bit low there. I'm at 37. And then it kind of jumps around here. It jumps from, 37, 43, then it goes back down to 36, then it jumps up a little bit more here, 45 PSI, and it just keeps doing that for whatever reason. Now, I don't know if this is a sensor issue or not. I don't think it is, okay, because it ends up getting up to 55 PSI right before I shift. So right here's where I shift, okay, and I shift at 6,500 in a perfect world. So let's see, I shifted at, 64, let's see, 64.78, was that at the peak? Nope, 60, so yeah, 6494. So yeah, pretty much 6500. And at 6500 shift, so if you're following along here, 6500 RPM, I should have about 62 PSI to be in the safe zone. And we have 55, a little bit low. Still not crazy bad, but a little low. And then the RPM jumps way down because I shifted. RPM jumps down to 4,800, and the oil pressure obviously is going to come down because of that. So 42, so a little bit low. Now I think I have figured this out. So I'm going to bring you back out. Oh, well, you know what? Let's go over this while I got you zoomed in. I'll talk about what I think is the issue here with the oil pressure. It's twofold. But if you look at my boost, okay, so I jumped my dome pressure up. Let's look at that. Target dome. Okay, target dome is this purple line. And I had target dome set at, I thought 14. Yes, 14 PSI target dome. And, you know, the dome pressure is always all over the place. So that's the dome pressure. That squiggly line, boom, 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 up, down, up, down. Because it's fluttering, it's trying to control the dome pressure. But anyways, the dome pressure jumped around, but it worked. So my 14 PSI dome pressure ended up making, now for whatever reason, I'm going to try to get this curve, this jumping around of the boost smoothed out. I'm going to talk to the tuner about that, and I have a feeling that that has to do with the way the MAC valve is controlled, and I'm pretty sure we could fine-tune that so that this gets a little bit more, you know, leveled off in here. But it ended up making at peak boost 19.3 PSI. Okay, so that's good. I wanted to be at 20, so I'm pretty much there. I might bump it up to my target dome to 15 just so I know I'll get to that 20. But regardless, I'm happy with how that got set up. So I'm going to put you back on the stand here, and we'll talk about what I think is going on. So, with all that being said, I think I have one issue I know of. So as soon as I saw this, I'm like, okay, if it dropped on my launch, so think about it, when you're launching, all the oil's getting pushed way back in the oil pan. So I have a feeling in my head, I was like, oh, I didn't check the oil all during the runs. I checked it before I left. It was good. It was like a little bit, not at the all the way at the top on the full, maybe a smidge below the very, very top on the crosshatch on my dipstick. So I'm like, okay, it should be fine. So I didn't add any because I thought it would be fine. I went back to that first pass and it was good. Everything was good. It didn't drop way off like this when I launched. So it steadily climbed with the RPMs like it's supposed to. Now, it did vary a little bit, up and down, maybe 2-3 PSI, not bad. But out at the big end, okay, when the car is, well, let's say it's still pulling, but when I'm in second gear, getting a little higher up in the RPMs, it doesn't, it loses a little bit of torque, I guess you could say. So it's not really sucking you back as hard as all of first gear. So on this run where it kind of flattened out, it was, 55, 56 PSI. Now on that first pass, it was 68 PSI, which is like right where you want to be. Because like I said, 10 PSI is what you really need for every 1,000 RPMs, and I'm shifting at 6,500. So 70 PSI, 68 PSI, perfect. That's great. So I'm like, okay. So that was my first pass. That was off the trailer. So I looked at the water temp to see what the water temp was, to see how hot it was. And my water temp was not 195. It was a smidge lower at 185. So that tells me that, one, as the car is warming up, I'm losing the viscosity, so my oil pressure is coming down a little bit. But also, I looked at all the other runs, and every single run, the oil pressure is getting a smidge lower every pass, and my drop-off on my launch started getting lower and lower until the very last run here, where I lost a ton of PSI because the oil level was low. So I went out and checked it just now to make sure that my theory was correct. And I am at the bottom, not low. I'm not technically low. I'm not at the low add mark. There really is no low add mark on that. But there's like a grid of like 1 inch where that's like considered your safe zone. So I normally run it at the very top of that grid. When I put the motor together, I tested that dipstick to see where it was in the pan. So I know that if I'm at the top of that grid, that my oil level in the pan is just below. There's like a baffle in there, and I'm just below that baffle. So I have a feeling that when I just went out and checked it, it was at the bottom of the grid, not all the way at the bottom, but like a hair, maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, we'll say. Yeah, it was about 1/8 of an inch up from the, starting into the grid. So my thinking is that when I'm launching, the oil's moving away from the pickup and it's starting to aerate a little bit, and that's what's causing it to plummet on the launch. And then since it's getting so aerated, it takes so long for it to pick itself back up. And then by the time it finally does, which is in, let's see, second gear, maybe, I don't know, a couple tenths of a second into second gear, it finally starts to level off at 50 psi, 55 psi it is right here. And it pretty much maintained that 55 psi, 55, 56, all through second gear. But 55 is good at the beginning of that shift, because that shift, when I shift it, it drops down to 4,800, and then it slowly works its way back up 5,500 halfway through, and then I shifted at 60. I'm trying to shift at 65, so that's why I'm like really kind of being particular at when I shifted. Looks like I shifted at, yes, 64, 65, so basically 6,500. So I should have had 62 psi to be safe, and I only had 56. So I'm still a little low, and I have a feeling I'm a little low because my viscosity, I'm running, what is it? Let me double check. I don't want to lie. 530, okay? I'm running 530 weight AMSOIL in there. Now, I've never had an issue with this before, so, but I that brings up a good question. I could go back to the old data logs from the old motor and see what it was, because I believe I was running a 1030. Now, the 10 number is your winter rating, so technically it's still, I'm still in the ballpark. But regardless, I think I'm going to go to a little bit heavier weight oil. I might go with like a 40 weight, 1040. I'll probably go with a 1040 because my bearing clearances in that motor when I put it together were still kind of on, not super tight, but they were basically where a stock motor would be, factory LS motor would be. Off the hand, I cannot remember how many thousandths it was. I'd have to look back in my build sheet. But I want to say 3 or 4 thousandths. Don't quote me on that. I don't know 100%. But they were whatever GM specified for that motor and that bearing, because I got the stock connecting rod bearings. I didn't go with anything crazy. So with the bearing clearances being a factory bearing clearance, I was like, okay, I'll go with a factory weight oil which in those cars is supposed to be a 530. Says it right on the goddamn oil cap. So that's why I figured I'd be safe. But I have a feeling I might have to, now that it's turbo application, higher force slamming down on those connecting rods, it might be pushing that oil out. I don't know. I'm going to jump it up to, I'm going to jump it up to a 1040 weight, and I'm going to keep it at the very top of the full mark. I'm going to check it every pass. So I also, that's my next thing, okay? I also checked my catch cans to see how much oil per pass, I guess you could say. Now, I forgot to check it after the first pass, but I believe I checked it on like the second or third pass. And I filled up a Mountain Dew bottle. Found a Mountain Dew bottle in the trash can. For some reason, I forgot to bring my drain pan. But anyways, I found the Mountain Dew bottle, and it maybe 2 inches of the Mountain Dew bottle. So Mountain Dew bottle's what, 16 ounces? It was this much after 2 passes, so that's maybe 4 ounces of oil. Not that much. But like I said, I went out there and checked it right now. I didn't check the catch can, but I have a feeling there's going to be another 2 or 3 ounces of oil in there. So that's about a half quart total through all the runs. 4 runs, you figure. So maybe 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 ounces, I'm going to guess, is what I lost throughout the whole day. And I guess since I started with with a little bit lower than normal amount, that's why it was aerating and sucking some air. That's my theory. I won't know 100% on this until I can go back to the track. And that's probably not going to happen until next year, unfortunately, because that was the last test and tune for the year. So I can't really test that on the street, because even with the slicks on the street, 0 traction. Doesn't matter what you do, just lights the tires up instantly. You can't build any boost. You can't. It's pointless. So the only way I can even test any type of stuff like that is if I do an on-ramp, like merging onto the highway. But it does not pull as hard as launching from a dead stop, because I'm basically starting in 3rd gear. I even tried it in 2nd gear. I tried a 2nd gear pull at like, I think 40 or 50 miles an hour, I can't remember, and it still lit the tires up. So the only way I can do a good pull is 3rd gear at about 60 mile an hour. In 3rd gear, I'm at like, I want to say 23-ish hundred RPM, and that's kind of where, when I launch, that's pretty much where I'm launching at. But it's with the gear ratio, it does not pull as hard as a 1st gear 2300 RPM launch. So I can't really test this theory with the oil sloshing back until I go back to the track. But I have a pretty good assumption that that's what it is. Anyways, I don't want to drag this out any longer. It's getting late. I still got to edit and then figure out everything and upload this video. So, yeah, I don't know. I got some changes planned for the car. I got a exhaust back pressure sensor that I'm going to wire in, because I have a feeling this turbo might be a little bit too small on the cold or on the hot side. It's a 75 millimeter hot side, which I have a feeling is a little bit too small for the 6 liter. So I think my exhaust back pressure might be a little bit too high, because I can feel in the car, and I never felt it until I got this engine. When I start getting a little higher in the RPMs, like 63, around 63, 6500, like right before I shift, I don't know what it is, but I can feel a little something in the car that wasn't there before. And I have a feeling that I might be losing a little bit of power because I have too much back pressure. So in order to know that, I need to know what the back pressure is, and then I can go from there. So anyways, I bought that sensor. I didn't have time to put it in before I tested. I tried. I got the wiring done. I programmed the computer. Boop, 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 you know. I got that all set up, but I didn't have time to actually physically install it on the car. So I got to do that before I do anything else, just to see where I'm at on my back pressure. But, I mean, judging from having to put, I mean, if it's got, I think it's 14.5 wastegate spring, and I'm adding 14 PSI, I bet you that back pressure is probably around 30 PSI. I don't know for sure until I test it, and that is a little high. So I might do something there with that. But if I do any work on the car, whatever, I'll probably make a video. But I've been so busy with trying to get stuff done on my house, and I had vacation and just a bunch of... So that's why I haven't had any time to make any videos. But I'm going to try... I don't know. I guess I'll shoot for like once a month. I don't know. I'll see. We'll see what happens. I'd like to try to do every week, but it's just... I'm just too busy doing other shit. And, you know, I don't want to bore you guys with, like, you know, my daily bullshit of what I'm doing on the house and that kind of shit, you know. I just, you know, I think it's dumb, but whatever. I might do, actually, hold that thought, I might do another video on, with that mini excavator, because those videos apparently have like 15,000 views. So I might do a recap on that, because I've learned a little bit on that. And I figured some other things out. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time.